Okay, well, after running to Walmart, getting a new set of punches, yeah. Yummy. That and also had to do a quick turning on that pin. Well, wasn't perfect. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to give it a rough flat where it'll go in a lot smoother. I mean, it wasn't straight. I straightened it out as much as I could. Try to do a ghetto milling. And that's simply accomplished by putting that part in a drill and using a hand file or some sandpaper at a really, really high speed. Works like a champ sometimes. But on a further note, it is off. The stock is completely off the rifle. Now, you can do it one of several ways right now. Sorry, there's a little bit of cosmoline up at this front sight. And all I'm trying to do is just break it loose. I'm a little anal, retentive like that. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to put it back together. Should go a lot easier than taking it apart. Let's see how it goes. You got to start off with your stock and your barrel. Okay. After you slip your stock in, what you're going to want to do is you're actually going to want to take a punch or something. And you're going to want to lightly tap it down. Because what has to happen is that this piece actually holds your stock in place. So what I'm doing... I can finish that up a little bit later on. Still got to push it down just a little bit. Because if you look down in it, you can actually see where it has to go. Now this weapon is still unloaded. Beautiful. Now it's held perfectly on. At least as far down as I really want to take it right now. I still might drop it after I put the pin in, but that'll be another day. Take your pin. Now I'm going to do this again on my lap. It's my best workbench. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my large punch real quick. It's going a lot smoother than it came out, isn't it? So, now that I've got it started, I'm going to take a smaller punch. And that's completely in. And next time I go to take it out, it should be a lot easier. Okay. Now for the next part. Well, you can do one of 2 or 3 or 10 things. You can start out with your magazine, like I would, and that's simply done. Now remember how it came in, or came out? That piece has to be up front, and that has to clip in first. Okay? Now you'll know when it's in just because of the way it sits. It sits in like so. Not much to it. Now it's in place. Get your trigger. And again, you've got to slip your front piece in first because that's actually got a pin. And then what I like to do, and some of you guys may curse me out, but unfortunately, because of the amount of force needed, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the rifle down like so, and just simply hit it. Okay. But you see, this one doesn't want to cooperate. Oh, I don't know why. Safety wasn't in. Snaps right in place. Nothing was harmed. So that's at least the good part. Now, we know it should work. Key word, should. Next thing. What you're going to want to do is, you can either put your bayonet on first, or save it for last. But before you can put your bayonet on, remember, cleaning rod's got to go in. That's how it goes. Now remember how we took it off. Spring. Like so. Now this is where you guys can actually get a little hurt when doing it. So what I do recommend, and this is only what I would do, press down a little bit with the whole assembly installed. Take your screw, line everything up, set your screw in, and then you can actually screw everything in. Make sure that works. Snaps right down, locks in place. Works, right? Just the way it should. Breathing antler. Now that all the lower pieces are in place, I'm going to start with the upper. And what we're going to do, we're going to take our gas tube and our gas piston, slip that right in place. There we go. That's locked in. Everything should be good. So we think. I'm going to drop my magazine. Actually, you know what? No. I'll actually leave it in place for right now. I'm going to take my bolt, my charging handle. I'm going to drop them into place. Lock them up front. Take my piston, or my recoil spring. Now what I always do is I always put the buffer in front. You have two pieces. it honestly doesn't really matter because either way you look at it, it's still going to all do the same thing. Now, some of you guys can fight me on this one. Normally what I do is I just slip my backing plate on. Run my pin through. Congratulations. You have a newborn baby. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to check for function. Now, so you can actually see what I'm doing. Check for function, simply done by charging the handle, pulling the trigger. Charging the handle, lifting up the safety. Safety is located right here, and it has actually a nice little notch. So this way, if ever you're going into a fight, all you have to do is come down, knock it down, and your finger is right on the trigger. This kind of safety I do like. That's another day. Make sure my safety works. I'm just going to charge it again. Safety's locked. And then for the final. Now, what does this really make you think of? You have an open bolt right now. Well, it makes me think of one of two things. Either these lovely little beauties, and this brand of ammunition I never really had too good a luck with. It's what the hell is it? Tull ammo, 122 grain. Nah, I've had issues with it. I'm glad I only got like 100 rounds left. Then I gotta switch. Or do you load it with something better? Oh, Zombie Max. Because you know what? When living in the ghetto, you know you're gonna have a shitload of zombies. And you know what? This is gonna be one. I'll save those. But for just living in the ghetto and you want to just plink around. Now, what does this make you want to do? What do you want to do? Now you're all ready to go, aren't you? Or so you think. Now, one thing I like about the SKS is actually how smooth it is. And how it actually does really recoil. You know, honestly, this charging system is probably one of the better ones. Because even if you have a light load, now, a lot of times, never mind, just corrected itself. I'll show you again. Okay. Now, as I was going to say, the one thing I like about the SKS, even if you do have a weak load, there's no such thing as a weak load with it. I mean, there isn't and there isn't. As long as it comes back yay far, it will load your next round. But never be really gentle with your bolt. Don't just, oh, well, I don't like slapping it down, so I'm going to gently move it up. Don't. Only for the reason why. Because what will end up happening, I'm going to see if I can't replicate it. You charge it up like this, and it sits like this. Now I'm just holding the bolt. Okay? It sits like this. You got to rack out that next, or it fires out that round. It's not going to eject that shell. So you actually do have to let it ride. And then, just for shits and giggles, I just love the way that sounds. But, honestly, you know what sound even does it better for me? And I'm not trying to bullshit with you. Have you ever slowly listened to on how the 1911 racks? Let me bring it up. I love that sound. That sound is just like heaven to me. That sound is just like heaven. I mean, everybody has their own little sound on what they like. Me, preferably, I like the sound of a good 1911 racking. You know, it has a tone all of its own. And honestly, it's a sound you never want to forget. You know, it is one of those sounds that it is unforgettable. And boy, is it. Yeah. Now, the reason why I don't like tall ammo, I mean, everybody has their own little niche on it. Some people love it, other people hate it. The only reason why I don't like it is just simply because, you know, it's inconsistent. You know, but unfortunately with a 7.62 cartridge, you know, you don't really have too many options as to who makes your ammo. I mean, I've seen it every once in a while in Remington and, say, Winchester, but that's very far and few between. You know, it's not like 9mm where you can get it in almost any manufacturer, or it's not like it's 45 where you can get it from 20 different manufacturers. A lot of times when you go into the stores, you're only going to see it in a couple names. You're going to see it in Wolf. You're going to see it Tall. You know, it's going to have its own little cases. I might even have some. Let me go in my little baggie of goodies. My little cookie tin. Okay. That one is very distinctive. That one is very distinctive. I mean, I've got a few of these. Let's see. Didn't go off. A lot of the surplus stuff you'll find, I've had it where primers don't want to go off. So what do you do with your bullets? Well, I'll preferably take them home. Why? Because I'll yank their fucking guts out. Yeah. I'll yank their guts out. I'll save their powders. Couple little 223s. Ooh, soft point. Forgot I had that one. Let me see if I got a 7.62 in here. Oh no, I may not. He's not in this tin. But I have another little thing of goodies. These are all rounds that I had that never went off. You hit the primer, and what happens? Bang. No. You get click. So my question is, what do you do with the rounds? Well, what I'll do is I'll come home, I'll pull them out, or I'll pull them apart. I'll save the powder for other things. Yeah, I think New Year's Eve I laid down like a 20-foot strip of smokeless powder. That was actually fun. Now, many of you have never seen a 7.62 projectile out of its casing. Well, I have in my hands two. Those are both 7.62s. Now, don't mind these mangled bullets, honestly, because I mangled them. I'll be honest. A 22 without a head stamp. I might want to save that. Now that's your 22 or 223-556, and that's a 22. I think this is actually a 303 British, 30-06, 45. Those were actually, who the hell made those? I've tested countless amount of ammo, and honestly, it's whatever. So what I normally do is I just save whatever, at least the projectiles, because you know what, I can use them for another project. Maybe. Yeah, I think I got a project or two for them. But this is what I do with. Actually, you know, I'll turn this into another video. Fuck it.